so it doesn't matter, like I can cut it out. So how do you want to start? Do you want me to start or do you want to start?
Yeah.
Me? Okay. You sitting up straight? Yeah, you've got your clipboard. You excited? Should you have a sip of water? Cheers. 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 Okay. Hi everybody, my name is Laura and this is my nephew Jason.
Hello.
Hello. So we actually want to come and just share a little bit about us today, and we have actually both got ADHD, and what we wanted to do was just to compare and share with each other
What we feel.
That's right. So Jason had a sleepover last night, and this morning he always jumps in for a cuddle and a cup of tea, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
And I said to him, all right, so let's write down the questions we want to ask each other, but let's not answer them now. Let's video it. Let's video it so then we can share with everybody, and we haven't even thought about the answers yet. We're just gonna, be creative and run off the mill. So why don't we do 3 questions each, and then the next person do 3 questions.
Yeah, and sorry about the words backwards, but anyways.
What words backwards?
Well, for them, they see the words backwards.
Oh no, so what happens is that this is just for us to look at. They're not even going to see it. We're going to ask the question. I get you. Oh, because this says what? What's that say?
Focus.
And what are we awesome at?
Focusing.
Are we really?
Not really.
Not really. All right, so how about I ask you first, so then
And
you've got
this
an extra.
says, where did money come from?
Mum and Dad. So why don't I ask you 3 questions so you get an idea of how to do it when it comes back to me. Now, interestingly enough, before we get started, Jason and I had just taken both of us had just taken our Ritalin before we started, about half an hour, just talking and writing questions down. And it was really interesting how the questions changed once I think both of our Ritalin had kicked in. But interestingly enough, some of these questions aren't actually on topic, which is very ADHD, and we're usually triggered by something else that we're thinking about. So one of the questions that Jason is going to ask me is about my grandmother, which has nothing to do with ADHD, but we had a blanket that we were looking at, and then he got sidetracked, and then all of a sudden there was all these extra creative, awesome questions. So just to give you an insight about all this. So I just want to make sure that we're videoing. I don't know if we are. Hang on. Oh yeah, we are. See, I forgot that we were videoing. All right, so my first question to you, Jason. Are you ready?
Yeah.
How old are you?
I'm 9.
9. When's your birthday?
September 22nd, 2010. No, 20th.
And when's mine?
2010. 2 days after. No, 1 day.
1 day after.
One day apart.
Fabulous. So I'm going to ask Jason to stop clicking the pen, because that's something that annoys me, but it's also probably something that he needs to do. And I actually sat him on a swivel chair because it'll help him focus and concentrate too. So that was a really good thing for him. All right, so pop down your pen, mate, because Aunty Laura can't concentrate. Okay, so the next question, how are we related?
Well, we are related because we have ADHD, and also because we think alike. And
so who's your dad?
My dad is your brother.
Done. Beautiful. Okay, so how are we the same? You just half answered that. Because we have ADHD. What else? You can look at the screen if you want.
We also like to share ideas with each other, and sometimes they're the same.
Yep.
And we think of the same things sometimes.
We do. All right, so that's my 3 questions. And I'll also just add in there that we're coming up to the time where Jason should take his Ritalin very soon, which means that, and you can tell that, can't you? You're a bit more fidgety and you're not as focused. I can pick up on it, but he can pick up on it too. I've actually just had my Ritalin, so out of the 2 of us, I'm the focused one. So I'm going to get you to ask 3 questions now, and don't forget to help yourself. You can use the highlighter so you know where you're up to.
What do you feel like when people ask you questions?
I actually get really excited because, so I tell you what, so what you do is when you ask someone a question, you look them in the eye so you know, so I know that you're listening to me. All right? Where are you looking? Wait, I'm over here. So how do I, what was the question? What do you feel like when people ask you questions? All right, so I really like it because it means I get a chance to talk about, I get to talk about how it affects me and how it helps. And, you know, sometimes I find that someone else who doesn't even know they've got ADHD, find out that they have it as well.
Second question, what makes you feel different to other people?
What makes me feel different? Well, sometimes I think really creatively, and sometimes, like, I know that, you know, that Aunty Laura has like a business, and I've run a business for a long time. It's very successful.
Which shows these two.
Oh, look at
Just
that.
telling you.
Good boy. What are they?
Impression?
Yeah, impressions bracelets. So you remember the name, good job. So I've even forgotten the question myself. So how I feel different. So yeah, so okay, so I run a very successful business, yet sometimes the everyday things like being tidy or turning up to things on time, or just things that you shouldn't really forget, that I do forget, that kind of makes me feel a bit different. So yeah, that's another question. You got one more and then it's my turn.
What do people say that make you feel weird?
What make me feel weird? Probably sometimes I think I'm funny and other people don't think I'm funny, and my jokes are a little bit different. Sometimes I dress like with lots of bright colours and lots of bling, and I'm really loud, and sometimes I forget to wait my turn. Are any of these things you can relate to?
Yeah, I sometimes do that.
Yeah. So how do we get dressed for today? We've got our burger socks on. We've got a funny shirt on, and he was determined to wear bling, weren't you? Fabulous. So is it my turn? Is it my turn or your turn? Have you done 3?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Also, fun fact, ADHD people are creative, like very creative.
We are, aren't we?
And also they have a lot of imagination.
We do. Sometimes we believe our own stories, don't you reckon? Sometimes I think I've had a dream and then I actually think it actually happened. Do you think that?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
I had a dream the other day about Shelby coming back, and in the morning I just ran out and I was like, where's Shelby?
I know. Bless you. So Shelby is Jason's puppy that passed away a few years ago. Yeah. And we love Shelby and we think about it all the time, don't we? Yeah. Okay, so what medication do we both take? Ritalin.
In the morning.
Yeah.
But I have different in the afternoon to Laura.
Yeah, we sure do.
I have a long-lasting one in the morning too.
Yeah, boy. Okay, when you found out that Aunty Laura had ADHD, what did you think?
I think that they were lying and that they were just playing with me and trying to make me feel a bit weird. But I eventually found out that it was true, and then I was just surprised.
Surprised? Well, this is something that I really appreciate, because I didn't find out I had ADHD till I was an adult, and you always have this feeling like you'd like to belong to someone and you'd like to know that someone else is just like you. Yeah. So I appreciate you, Jason, because we are the same. And what I appreciate is that I found someone who is just like me, and I know that it should be the other way around, but I feel really comfortable, and I actually you know, makes me happy when we spend time together because I'm like, oh, finally someone just like me. All right, another question. What does ADHD mean to you? What does it mean?
Well, it means that I'm special, like I'm a special person and I'm different to other people.
Yeah.
And it makes me feel really happy that I have ADHD, and sometimes I feel like I want like everything, but then it just turns out different because it's basically, so once you do, it's basically like a dog. When it's older, you can't teach it nothing.
Like, who are we thinking about? Who can't we teach?
Well, me sometimes, because I don't remember some stuff from year 3 and...
But that's okay, because that's different schools and we
Yeah.
learn that as we go along. And other people are like that too, it's not just ADHD people, okay? All right, one more question from me.
Yeah.
How does Ritalin make you feel?
It makes me feel more relaxed and not hyper, and it just makes me feel like I'm concentrating on one thing at one time, which when I don't have it, I feel like concentrating on like 50,000 things at once.
Yeah. Do you want me to explain how I feel?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when I take Ritalin, it's like, you know when you've got a filing cabinet and it's all, you know how Nanny's got a cupboard and it's all perfect? You know Nanny's cupboard? No, the food cupboard. And it's perfect. That's how Ritalin makes me feel. And then when I don't take it, I feel like Poppy's factory. What do you reckon?
Yeah.
Is that a good example?
Yeah.
Alright, I reckon so too.
If you don't know, my pop's workshop is a total mess. He just buys junk and he just stores it away.
It is true.
Which is really
So true. Alright, last question.
And my dad always tells him to stop buying stuff from Pickle's auction.
Okay, confession time over, mate. We'll both get into trouble. One more question. Oh no, your turn. Go.
Do you like having ADHD?
Yes, I do. I'm very glad that I know that I have it. It's not just about taking medication, it's about being aware and learning about myself. You know, I've been able to read articles. I'm not very good at reading a book, it takes too long, but I read articles and...
But when you're schooling to like get 2 bookmarks and then do that one line, you just read.
Oh, that's a good tip, thank you. Good for something, aren't you? Alright, what's the next question?
Do you use ADHD as an excuse? Now, that one for me is...
are you asking me or are you asking you?
I use it as an excuse now.
Do you? Why?
I don't know, I just use it for an excuse because I sometimes don't take my tablet. That's right.
And then?
And I get into more trouble.
You get into trouble.
Good.
Okay, well we're going to have to work on that because it's not an excuse. So, are you going to ask me the question now or are you going to answer for me?
Do you use ADHD as an excuse?
No. So some people have brought it to my attention before that I may do, but I believe it's just an understanding or an awareness. So, you know, if I say, I'm really sorry I'm late, I don't say I'm sorry I'm late, I have ADHD. Just I don't feel so guilty or feel like, feel shame for being late because, you know, part of it is that you're time blind and I've worked really hard at not being, but there's sometimes that it takes over, right? Yeah. Same as you, that's right. All right, one more question from you.
While you answer this question, I'll go get my Ritalin. How's that?
Is it time to do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you hate having to take a tablet every day?
Okay. Well, I'll answer that while you go, and then if you're not back in time, I'll keep reading your questions for you.
See you in a couple of minutes.
This is so ADHD. Come on, mate. The floors are wet too.
Yeah.
All right. He is amazing. I will probably cry by the end of this. Okay, so his question to me was, and he took this very seriously this morning while we were having time in bed. It was great. So his question was, oh no, this is his. Do you hate taking your tablets every day? Yes and no. So I've been on medication now for 6 years, which means that doesn't work as much for me as what it would have a couple of years ago. So, and also when you're under a lot of stress, what happens is that also doesn't work as much. So I don't like taking it every day because you get a build up and a resistance to it. So I try to have a couple of days off. But if I'm under, if I need to study, which I have started doing, if I have to get paperwork done and all that kind of stuff, like it's really important to make sure that I take it. Sometimes I have, not take, like in the beginning, did you get it? Close the door, mate. In the beginnings, I just take it willy-nilly and didn't really understand that it was important to take it every day. And I found that it was really hard to get into a routine.
If you are wondering what it looks like, this is a tablet.
Mate, all right, sit down and just take it, would you? Are you enjoying this?
Yeah.
It's good, eh? It's nice to talk about it, eh? Okay, so Laura asked Jason. Okay, next question. What we're gonna do is we're gonna pause at 20 minutes and do another one.
6.
Go.
I've done.
No, no. That was just one. You got 2 more.
What do you do in your free time, Laura?
Well, probably my free time, I end up scrolling on Facebook or Instagram. Isn't that what we all do? We play on our iPads and stuff. I actually like to talk to friends. There's 3 types of ADHD. I don't know all the technical stuff. It's not my thing. But there is the hyperactive, which is more Jason. You can see he's very fidgety. I have sat him on a chair to move. This actually really irritates me, and it takes all of my everything to not tell him to stop. I have asked him once, but obviously it's really important that he keeps moving because it helps him focus. So I've just had to kind of take a deep breath and, deal with it myself. And then there's the chatty Cathys. So I'm chatty Cathy and also the daydreamer. So although, I'm a
daydreamer.
Yeah, you're a bit
always.
We usually have 2 or 3, kind of crosses over. And a lot of the time with girls, this is why Jason was diagnosed, because typically it's known that it's like a boy thing, like in primary school. Now, my brother was very much like Jason when he was in primary school, but now ADHD doesn't seem to be a big problem for him as an adult. He loves his routine and he actually thrives off it, and he doesn't have, the hyperactivity. He's not a great reader, and I remember being younger and Stephen having trouble reading, but I didn't really so much. But as an adult, for me, so I was a daydreamer. I slid under the radar. I always sat next to the smart kids, so I got to copy. I became a really good salesperson because I had to almost, that was part of, trying to, I was a bit of a class clown to compensate for the fact that I wasn't concentrating. I didn't know what was going on and I felt stupid. But as an adult, it was the adult things. It was the taking care of a house, paying bills on time, turning up on time, just being forgetful. And sometimes as an adult and a female, you'd kind of get labelled as not a great friend because you weren't very good at calling, returning phone calls or, things like that. So it has played havoc as an adult for me. Whereas Jason, being in the environment that he's in with his mum and dad, it's a very routine environment, and I think it may be different for him getting older. As long as he finds something that he loves to do, job-wise, like my brother loved trucks, and now, him and my dad run a business together in trucks. So as long as he finds something. See, salesman. Whereas I was a bit lost. I was the daydreamer. And we actually have a lot of people in our life that have ADHD. Some diagnosed, some not, and that doesn't matter. But because they're all different types, it is very much the hyperactive boys that get diagnosed first, I guess. So I don't even know if that was a question you asked me. What do you do in free time? That was not part of the question. See? That was very ADHD, wasn't it?
Yeah.
All right, go.
Okay. When did you find out you had ADHD?
So I was 31 actually, and I at the time had a partner, and we had counselling together, and Chris, who's been our family therapist, well, we all took turns at one stage, and sometimes we all turn up together. Chris actually pulled me aside one day. My ex-partner, not my ex-husband, my ex-partner before him, he had Asperger's. And he pulled me aside one day and said, Laura, I just think you need to have a look at ADHD. And I was oblivious. And I was like, what else does he have? And he goes, well, actually, it's you. And I got in the car straight away and sat and Googled on my phone ADHD. And at first I was kind of reading up on the hypes of stuff. And I was like, ADHD in adults, girls. So I just retyped in my Google and I just bawled my eyes out because I was like, how did I not know? This makes perfect sense. And, you know, I truly believe I am the person I am today because I didn't know. But at the same time, you know, some things could have been easier, but it just wasn't done, you know, schools didn't know about it so much in my day, whereas they're very more aware of it now. I've got a croaky voice because Ritalin also makes you thirsty, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So that's why we've got our water. Last question. This is very random. Go.
Would you rather play iPad or phone?
On my phone, I'm not good with the iPad. It's too big, 2 hands. I just want 1 hand. We told him to be quiet, didn't we?
Yeah.
Okay, so a little bit longer and then we'll press stop and we'll do the next one.
22.
All right, so I'll ask you a question. Do you feel the difference when you are on Ritalin? Oh, we've answered that, haven't we?
Yeah. I've actually once felt a bit weird because it was a new Ritalin.
Yeah. When you first take it home.
Yeah. It just feels like, what is this? And like, what does it do? And like,
why do I feel different?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it basically is.
Yeah, and now you're used to it. And
yeah, and then
it's good, right?
Then I have to change it because I'm doing longer things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you're diagnosed under the age of 17, you can actually go on long release Ritalin, which means so Ritalin. I don't even know the names, but there's a short one. So we both take that in the morning. But as an adult, because I was diagnosed after 17 in Australia, I'm only accessible to that unless I want to pay hundreds and hundreds of dollars, which doesn't make sense to me because as an adult, so for Jason, you know, has parents and grandparents and aunties and teachers to remind him to take it. Whereas as an adult, it makes more sense to me to take a long-lasting one because it's hard enough to remember to take it. You know, I'm accountable for myself. No one reminds me, unless you can start reminding me. Maybe you call me every day when you take it and I won't forget.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know why that is, but it just makes more sense if I could do that. All right, my question. Oh no, how do you feel? Okay. Some of these we've answered, so if you think that you've already answered it before, then just say next question. Do you like having ADHD? Did you answer that?
Yeah, I do like having ADHD because it makes me feel better, and like it just makes me feel different to other people, and people just feel good around me sometimes.
Sure do. Told you I'm going to cry. All right, we've got 1 more minute to answer this question. When do you feel like your ADHD is out of control?
Probably when I'm misbehaving and I'm getting stuff lost and all that.
And what about when your Ritalin runs out of a night time and we have to
I go crazy.
Do you want to explain how you feel or an example?
Jumping around and
you can't help it, can you?
Yeah.
And were you doing this last night?
Yes. Because we stayed up and played
charades.
Charades, yeah.
And you're very, very bouncy.
Yeah.
While everyone else is calming down, people with ADHD, it's like their lights turn on. Mine are about 3 o'clock. It's like 3 o'clock and I'm like, oh, and I'm like, oh, and it's almost like I'm like, oh, look at all these things I have to do. Whereas all day, it's almost like there's nothing in there. So it makes perfect sense as to why you kind of like all of a sudden switch on later in the afternoon, and especially after your medications. You know, you've got all this extra energy because all day you've just been calm, haven't you?
Yeah.
So then you've got all this energy that you haven't used all day.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Don't disagree if you don't agree. You can say something different.
And also there is 3 parts to this.
What?
So 3 parts as in 3 videos.
Oh, is it? Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Should we press stop?
Like and subscribe.